everyone, my name is Terry. Welcome to Cook, Create, Read. Welcome back if you've watched any of my videos before. We have recently returned from a 3-week road trip in America, which was amazing, and we visited a lot of bookshops along the way. And I bought a lot of books, far too many really, but I had the space in my luggage, so, well, I didn't actually. I knew I was going to buy a lot of books, so I was prepared and took like an extra holdall to fill up with books on the way back. So that's what I did. I think I bought 24 books during our 3-week trip, which is a bit excessive and ridiculous, but anyway, that's what I did. So I just thought I would show you the books that I bought along the way. I did do a little bit of vlogging, not really, but I took some footage of the bookshops along the way. I'll put some clips in while we're talking, just to show you some of the bookshops that we visited. I've also got my itinerary book here that's like my little journal that had my plan, and I think we actually visited most of the books that I wanted to. I did a lot of research before we went to try and find some nice independent bookshops along the way. We did manage to visit most of them, I think, so that was really good. Luckily Dave is very accommodating when it comes to visiting bookshops. He doesn't read, but I like to find a bookshop in a town that we've never visited before, and then we use that as like a starting point to explore the town and the areas around it. We started our trip in Denver. We flew from Heathrow to Denver, and there were a few bookshops in Denver that that were on my list to visit, but we only really ended up visiting one of them. I think one of the others was closed, and another one I didn't really like the look of from the outside. The one bookshop that we did visit was called Tattered Cover Books, and it was inside Union Station, which is the main station in Denver. So this was really cute little bookshop within the station. It was my first stop, so I tried to limit myself in most of the bookshops to buying one book only, but that didn't happen. In a lot of the places I bought 2, and in one or two I bought 3, so oops. Anyway, so in Tattered Cover Bookstore I bought The Roundhouse by Louise Erdrich. I don't know a lot about these books. That's how I like to go into books, so I won't be able to give you a summary of the plot or anything. I don't even generally read the synopsis on the back because I like to go into books blind. But I know I read The Sentence by this author last year, and I loved it, or the year before maybe. I really loved it, so I wanted to give another of hers a go. So I bought this one. And also what I tried to do while we were shopping was I tried to look for books that were kind of local to the area, or, oh, I've just realised I've forgotten one, never mind. That were local to the area or written by local authors, or, you know, about the area or in some way. This one is none of those things. But anyway, I've been wanting to read more from this author for a long time, so I'm glad I picked that one up. So from Denver we went to Rocky Mountain National Park, and then from Rocky Mountain National Park we drove to Aspen. Yeah, on the way to Aspen we passed through a town called Frisco, which was actually both of us felt it was one of our favourite stops on the whole road trip. I would say it's in probably maybe the top 5, that might be exaggerating a bit, but it's this really lovely town, like set with the Rocky Mountains in the background. But it's like really cute, quaint town, and the bookshop we went to was called Next Page Books in Frisco, which was really lovely bookshop as well. The owner was lovely, and there were so many cute shops in that town. It was if I could live anywhere, it would either be there or Carmel by the Sea. Those were 2 of our favourite towns that we visited. Anyway, so in Next Page Books I picked up 2 books. The first one I bought for Natasha, my daughter, but I will read it as well, and that is Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I think this was just published like the day before we went to that bookshop, so I picked this one up for her. I know she's read I think all of her other books and loved them all. I have read the 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hardcastle, I think, which I really enjoyed, and then I tried to read Malibu by her, but I didn't like it. couldn't get into it, but I think I will enjoy this one. This one's about the women who were involved in, it's fiction, but it's about women who are involved in space travel, I think. And it's got really nice end covers, end pages, really pretty. So she's already read it. Natasha's already read it, and she enjoyed it. So I am looking forward to reading this one as well. And then in that shop, I also picked up a blind date with a book, which I am going to open now. Oh, here's this is a postcard that I picked up in there as well, Frisco. So this is Blind Date with a Book, and it's a paperback, and it says contemporary, gritty, realistic family drama. I've been dying to open this, but I promised myself I wouldn't do it until I recorded this video. So I will open it now, live on camera. So it's got this really cute little wax seal, which I don't really want to break. Although, I mean, who knows what I'm going to ever do with that, but anyway. So that's... this was $18.95. I think I've bought one blind date with a book before when we were in San Francisco on our last road trip. I can't remember what the book was. I haven't read it, I don't think. But anyway, I'm always a bit reluctant to buy these because, you know, I'm quite fussy when it comes to books. But I thought I would give this one a go because the town was so cute and the bookshop was so nice. And I wanted to support them in some way. Oh, so this is Waiting for Superman. Oh, this is non-fiction. Waiting for Superman, How We Can Save America's Failing Public Schools. Well, that's not a contemporary, gritty, realistic family drama, is it? The fate of our country won't be decided on a battlefield. It will be determined in a classroom. I'm really disappointed. They didn't say it was a second-hand book. It didn't say anywhere that they were second-hand books. This is a second-hand book, which I don't mind. I don't mind second-hand books at all. But for $18.95, and it's someone's read it and like underlined, and oh, it's not what it says it was, and it's not something I'm interested in. Anyway. Guess that's one for the charity shop. Never mind. Plenty of others that I will enjoy and read. From there we did go to Aspen and we stopped at Explore Booksellers. So this one, it's in a little house in the town, and I was a bit intimidated to go in there. I don't know why. I just thought, oh, it looks a bit, I don't know, just looked a bit scary. But I did go in, and it was actually a really lovely bookshop. It had like different rooms with all different books everywhere, and I could have spent hours in there. It was really, really lovely bookshop. And in there they had a wall that was books that were recommended by the staff who work there, which I also, you know, if those are there, I will always have a look to see what the local people are reading. And I picked up The Deep Sky by Yumi Kitasai. I've probably said that completely wrong. And this is like a sci-fi book, and when I read the back, it kind of reminded me of the Becky Chambers book, A Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. It sounds like a kind of soft sci-fi book about people who are taken from Earth to go and inhabit another planet to carry on civilization. Obviously, I think something awful happens to Earth, and everybody has to leave. So it sounded really good, and I loved the cover, and it was recommended by a staff member, so I picked that one up. I also got a postcard, showing the shop there. So this is like the house that it's set in. These other buildings aren't actually there, so that's not very realistic. And then I got a free bookmark, which is always good. So that was Explore Booksellers in Aspen. That was a really nice shop. I very much enjoyed browsing that one. So our next stop, well, the next bookshop that we stopped in was in Moab. I loved Moab as well. It was this really, it's not set, it's a town in very close to Arches National Park, which was one of my favourite parks that we visited. And it's kind of a very sort of deserty town surrounded by like red rock mountains and kind of an old sort of Western feel to it. I really liked it. Their bookshop is called Back of Beyond Books, and in there I picked up 2 books actually. I picked up Nowhere for Very Long, which is a memoir about a American girl who does van life. The young woman chronicles her adventures traveling across the deserts of the American West, which is kind of the area that we were doing our road trip in, so I thought that would be interesting to read. Yeah, so picked up that one. And I also picked up Go as a River. I'd seen this one by Shelley Reid. I'd seen this in pretty much all the bookshops that we'd visited so far. And when I read the back, it was set in Colorado, which is where we started our road trip. So, and it's a kind of love story, I think. It's about, I think it's about a young girl who lives on a farm, and she meets he's described here as a drifter, displaced from his tribal land, and they fall in love, and obviously that's a bit taboo in these times, which is, I don't know when it's set, but it's historical fiction as far as 1948 it starts. It's quite a nice cover there with the peach and the girl in the picture. So that was Back of Beyond Books, and I got a sticker that says Back of Beyond Books, Moab, Utah, and they gave me a free bookmark, which is cool. So that was Back of Beyond Books in Moab. Loved that shop as well. I don't really think there was a shop I didn't like, to be honest. But, oh, there was one actually. Might not talk about that one. The next bookshop that we went to is the Writer's Block in Las Vegas. We went to Las Vegas on our last road trip, and we had been to this bookshop before, and I really loved it. Loved the whole setting. It's got like plants and bird displays, and it's like set out really well, and it's got lots of different tables with recommendations and things like that. And also they sell a lot of knickknacks and like local art stuff and things like that. So it was a really nice bookshop to wander around. Dave really liked walking around there as well, which is always a bonus. So I picked up 2 books in there. The first one is Indian Burial Ground by Nick Medina. So this is about it's about life on a reservation I think it's in Nevada. And I think there might be an element of magical realism or something within this one as well. So that was the first one I got there. And then I picked up Meet Me at the Crossroads by Megan Giddings. This is one that I had on my list to look out for before I went. This has got like portals to other worlds within the story, which is something that I read in, oh God, it was ages ago, Daughter of Smoke and Bone, I think. I think it's that one, where you go through portals to other worlds or other times and things like that. And I really, really enjoyed it. And I've been looking for a book like that ever since. I'd have read the 10,000 Doors of January or something like that. God, I've got a terrible memory, which is also about portals to other worlds. So hopefully I will enjoy this one. I did try to buy paperbacks because of the weight considerations, but I didn't actually succeed in that very well. I did get a lot of hardbacks in the end. So that was the Writer's Block in Las Vegas, and got a free bookmark from them as well. I do love a free bookmark. I know it's ridiculous, but how many bookmarks does one need? But one needs one from every bookshop one visits, clearly. Where did we go next? Our next stop was Lake Tahoe, and we visited a bookshop there called Kappa Tahoe. I don't think I did a lot of filming in that shop, and it was a bit of an awkward shop to shop in, to be honest. It's a bookshop and a cafe and a co-working zone. The co-working section was like behind a glass wall and completely separate to the bookshop, but they had like a coffee and cake pastries counter at the back where you also paid for your books. And then you could, buy a coffee, and then the bookshop was kind of divided by bookshelves. Some of them were like low bookshelves so you could see across. Others were tall bookshelves, so they were like a complete division. but there were people, and then they had like sofas and chairs and everything, which is very nice, very really lovely idea. But for actually shopping and browsing the books, it's a bit awkward because you had to like squeeze past people who were sitting with their friends having coffee and cake, and so it was a bit awkward. Didn't completely enjoy it, but Dave bought a coffee and he was sitting down and having a drink, so I was having a browse, and I ended up picking up 2 books, of course. The first one is called Bright Eyes, and this is a memoir about a girl growing up, I think, in Alaska and California, and in the 70s and 80s, and she has a bit of a troubled childhood, and I think it's about confronting her mother later in life as an adult. So I think this is quite a harrowing read, I think. And when I got home, I discovered that this was actually signed by the author as well, which I didn't realise at the time. It says, "Thank you for taking this journey with me." And then it's signed by the author, who is Bridie Thelen Heidel. So that's the first one I picked up in this shop. And then I also picked up Penitence by Kristen Koval. So what actually happened was I had a look around at the places that I could get to within this bookshop, and didn't really see, I saw this but wasn't 100% sure that I wanted to read it because of the harrowing nature of it. So I didn't pick it up, but then went and sat with Dave, who was having his coffee, and obviously the way the bookshop is set up, there were bookshelves directly opposite him. So I was sitting next to him and I was just like gazing at the shelves in front of me, and I saw this one, and this was on my list of things to look for. So I picked this one up and I thought, oh, okay, I definitely want to get this. So if I'm getting this one, I may as well get another one. So then I did pick up the other one. But this one is a thriller, and it's set in Colorado, which was our first stop. So yeah, I picked this one up as well. And then this is the free bookmark from there. So you can see, I don't know if you can see really, but like there's like chairs here with the bookshelves, and I think that's the co-working space down there, which looked a nice place to work, to be honest. But yeah, so that was Kapa Tahoe in Lake Tahoe. So after Lake Tahoe, we travelled on to the wine country Napa Valley, and we stopped in a town called St. Helena, or St. Helena, I don't know how you say it. And there was a tiny little bookshop there. It said it was the smallest bookstore in St. Helena, and actually it was the only bookshop in that town. But it was called Wild Plum Books, and it was really small. It was tiny, but it was really cute and busy, and people were coming in and asking the owner for, I think she was the owner, I don't know, the woman who worked there, for recommendations, and she was like going, oh yeah, asking them what they were reading, and it was a really cute atmosphere in there. So in that place I picked up Sandwich by Catherine Newman. I'd seen this one around a lot and it kept catching my eye, so I thought I would pick it up. The only thing I don't like is it's got deckled edges, which actually quite a few of the books I picked up have deckled edges, and I don't like them. But this one is kind of sold as a summer read, and I think it's like a family drama, and the woman who worked in the shop was raving about this author. I've never read anything by her before, so she was shocked by that. And yeah, so hopefully I'm going to really enjoy this one as well. And then after St. Helena we moved on to Calistoga, and I think there were a couple of bookshops in Calistoga, but we only went to one which is called Copperfield Books. Is that right? Copperfield's Books, yeah. And I picked up, actually, and this was actually, from the outside I wasn't expecting much, but you went in and it was huge, and they had so many books and other knickknacks and stuff as well. It's a really nice bookshop. I picked up Women and Children First by Alina Grabowski. This one is set in Massachusetts, which I've never been to, and we weren't going to on the trip, but I think I just like the sound of this one. It's about like friendship and told through the eyes of 10 local women. A portrait of grief and a powerful reminder of life's interconnectedness. I hope this isn't like a short story thing that's connected. Oh no, I don't think it is. So I don't really know what this one's about, but I really like the cover. and yeah, hopefully I will enjoy this one. After Calistoga we moved on to the west coast and we drove down the coast a little bit. We crossed over the Golden Gate Bridge. We didn't go into San Francisco because we'd been there before and we didn't fancy going this time. Our next stop was Santa Cruz, which we had been to before and we really enjoyed it last time we were there. And I went to the same bookshop that I went to the previous time, it's called Bookshop Santa Cruz. It was my favourite bookshop on our last trip, so I definitely wanted to go there again. They sell like new and secondhand books on the shelves together, and then they also have like big tables full of the secondhand books. So I bought 3 secondhand books in there. The first one is Heartbreaker by Marisa Mayer. And these are, what's the word? They're like realistic. There's a word for it and I can't remember what it is. But because a lot of short stories I find are kind of magical realism or fantastical, and I shouldn't say that. I'm sure there's lots of realistic short stories as well. But these are the kind that I enjoy. So this is a debut collection of short stories, and I want to read more short stories. I have quite a few collections that I haven't read, but when I do read them, I do enjoy them. So hopefully I will enjoy this. And the second one, I wish they wouldn't do this, but they've got this massive big sticker over it. And this is called The Girls Are All So Nice Here by Laurie Elizabeth Flynn. And I've heard of this one before, which is why it caught my eye. And I think this is like a woman goes back to her old town and her old school. I think there's some kind of reunion and something awful happened when they were at school. I really enjoy books like that, so hopefully I will enjoy that one. And then the final one I picked up in this bookshop, this is one where I got 3. I picked up A Dangerous Business by Jane Smiley, and I picked this one up because despite the big sticker on the cover, this coastline is where we were travelling. And it's one of my favourite places in the world. I absolutely love that coastline. So when I saw that on the cover, that immediately made me pick the book up. And then when I read it, it's about it's a historical fiction, and it's about a woman whose husband is killed in a bar fight, and then she has to go and work in a brothel to make a living. Also has deckled edges, which I do not like, but never mind. And it's set on the California coast, which obviously is the most stunning place ever. So yeah, hopefully I will enjoy that one. Getting near the end now. We're into our last week of the road trip. So our next stop was Carmel by the Sea, which is a stunning place, but I didn't go into any bookshops there. I think we were too busy admiring the ocean. So we travelled around for a little bit more, and then we were heading to LA, but on the way we stopped in Ojai. And the only reason we stopped there is because I saw on Instagram a reel about Bart's books and I needed to go there. And it was a little bit of a detour from our route, but there was no way I wasn't going to go to this town. The town itself was really pretty and really cute, with kind of like hipster shops, you know, selling crystals and candles and hippie clothes, and it was really cute. But the bookstore itself is an outside bookshop, which was just incredible. It's all secondhand books, which I didn't know before I went. I do like secondhand books, but because you never know what you're going to get, but also you never know what you're going to get. So they didn't have any of the latest releases or anything like that. But anyway, so I picked up 2 books there. I picked up Ask Again, Yes by Mary Beth Keane. I've got another book on my shelves by her called The Walking People, I think. Just have a look over there where my shelves are. Anyway, I think that's what it's called, The Walking People. I haven't read it yet, but this one is about the breakdown of a marriage, which is quite interesting to me, so I picked that one up. It's an Oprah book as well, I think. Oh well, it's got a blurb on there by the Oprah magazine. But it looked like an interesting family drama type thing. And then I also picked up The Arsonist by Sue Miller, which has deckled edges. I don't know what it is. America's obsession with deckled edges. And the books in there were actually really cheap. This one was $9 and the paperback was $8.50, I think. Yeah, $8.50. So they were pretty reasonable. The books are really expensive in America. So I don't really know what this one's about, but the cover drew me to it, and hopefully it lives up to the cover. And I got a sticker from there, Bart's Books, and also a bookmark, which is not very exciting, but what does it say? Oh, it's a quote by James Baldwin. You think your pain and your heartbreak are unprecedented in the history of the world, but then you read, it was books that taught me that the things that tormented me most were the very things that connected me with all the people who were alive or who had ever been alive. Good old James Baldwin, eh? Oh, it says used and new books, but I didn't see any new books there. Anyway, so that's Bart's Books in Ojai, California. Then we are on to LA. LA's got loads of bookshops. We went to quite a few of them on our last trip, and I didn't want to go back to the same ones, but we did go to two other bookshops while we were there. One was Barnes & Noble, which, you know, it was a humongous Barnes & Noble in the Grove, which is a really lovely shopping mall, outdoor shopping mall in LA, in like the centre of LA. And the Barnes & Noble was ginormous, absolutely huge. I don't know how many levels, maybe 3 or 4 levels. I would say it's bigger than the Waterstones in Piccadilly, which is ginormous as well. So I picked up 2 books there. One is Spirit Crossing by William Kent Kruger. And these were on a table that were buy one, get one 50% off. And like I say, books are really expensive. This paperback is $18.99, so it's quite a lot of money. But this one is about a Lake Ojibwa tribal police department. So this is also set on a reservation. So this is about, I think it's a white teenage girl who goes missing, and she is the daughter of a politician, and there's a big fuss about it. And then there's also the body of a young Ojibwa woman is found in a shallow grave, and there's not a lot of fuss about that. And then also on the buy one get one 50% off thing was One Big Happy Family by Jamie Day, and this is just like a psychological thriller, I think, set on the coast, I think, but not one that the rocky coast of Maine. We didn't go anywhere near Maine, but sorry if you can hear my dog. He is barking at the neighbour. Yep, so this one just looks like a quick beachy type read, so looking forward to reading that one. While we were in LA, we went to Lost Books, which is a bookshop that is run by the same people who own the Last Bookstore in downtown LA. This bookshop is gorgeous. They sell plants, and I think they sell the plants, but they've got loads of plants in there, and vinyl records, and all secondhand books as well. It's set out really nicely. You just find yourself getting lost in like a maze of books. Yeah, it was really, really cute bookshop. So in there I picked up a Plain Song by Kent Haruf, which I discovered when I got home that I already have this book, but never mind. So, and this was only $5, so I don't feel so bad that I already have it. I bought this because I think Kent Haruf is like lauded as one of the best American writers, and I, as far as I knew, had never picked up a book by him, but I certainly haven't read anything by him, so I thought I would give this one a go. And it's about, but I kind of get the vibe that it's about a young girl who's kind of taken in by an older man. I don't think anything suspicious happens. He's just, you know, a kind old man. And yeah, I guess they end up learning things from each other, I would imagine. And I also picked up a bookmark in there. I had to buy this. It wasn't a free bookmark. It's just got the shop details on the back. And then they gave me a free sticker. So that's cool. I've just realised that the book that I haven't got up here is the one that I'm reading at the moment, which is it's downstairs, and it's called Miracle Country, I think, and it's a memoir about an area that we travelled through, the town called Bishop, and it's near Mono Lake, which was stunning. written by a girl or a woman who grew up in the area. I can't remember her name, but I will put it up here. But I am really enjoying that. It's really well written, easy to read, like very kind of conversational, and very much enjoying that. So I started reading that while we were there, while we were travelling through the area, which I'm really glad I did, because she talks about all the different places that we went through. We then went to Palm Springs, and we went into the, what's it called? The Best bookstore in Palm Springs. Again, I think it might be the only bookstore in Palm Springs. But I ended up not buying anything in that. Oh, yay me. Then we reached our final stop, which was San Diego. We didn't have a whole lot of time in San Diego. We were just there for we got there late afternoon, and then the following day before we caught our flight home. So we didn't have a lot of time to explore San Diego, and it just felt mad. Like the traffic in San Diego was horrendous. I thought I was going to die several times. I had seen a video about the Barnes & Noble that is inside an old theatre, and I really wanted to go there. So while we were in the Barnes & Noble in LA, I saw LA Woman by Eve Babbitt's, but I didn't pick it up for some reason. And I'd been looking for it in every bookshop that we'd been to since, and I couldn't find it. So we went into this Barnes & Noble in San Diego, and I found it. So this is LA Woman by Eve Babbitt's. This is a classic from, I think, the 60s, and this is about a 20-year-old girl who is obsessed with Jim Morrison. I have been a 20-year-old girl obsessed by Jim Morrison, so I really wanted to pick it up, and very pleased that I've got it. And how many pages? So it's only 160 pages, so I will put this on my Shorty September reading list, which one of my favourite readathons of the year. Probably the only one that I actually participate in, but more about that in September. And then, so throughout all of our bookshop visits, I had been seeing 2 books constantly in every single shop I went in, and I looked at them in every single bookshop that I went in and put them down for whatever reason. And actually, when I was in Wild Plum Books in St. Helena, the owner there was raving about one of these books with some customers who were asking her for recommendations. So I picked this one up. It's called Wild Dog Shore by Charlotte McConaughey. And this is about a father and daughter who live in some remote areas not far from Antarctica, and they are tasked with saving seeds of plants and vegetables in case, I don't know if something has happened to the world, or in case of something happening to the world. So they live this like lonely existence in the middle of nowhere, collecting these seeds, and a strange woman washes up on the shore in the middle of Antarctica, and shit happens from there. So very much looking forward to this one. Kind of reminds me a little bit of that one, what is it called? The Light Between the Oceans, something like that, which I really enjoyed. But that's about a couple who live in a lighthouse in the middle of nowhere, and they find a baby, I think they found the baby in a boat that washes up. But yeah, so really looking forward to this one. Also love the cover, gorgeous. And then the last one I picked up was The Wedding People by Alison Esbach, and this one is really popular at the moment and has been getting a lot of praise. It's supposed to be like a good summer read, so hopefully I will be getting to this one very soon. Not really sure what it's about, but I like the cover. Heard lots of hype about it, which isn't always a good thing in my opinion, but we'll see. Hopefully, I think I'm going to enjoy this one. So that is it. That is all the books that I bought on my road trip across America. If you have read any of these books, I would love to hear your comments down below. Which one do you think I should read first? Are any of these your favourite books? Let me know where to start, because there's a lot here and I don't know which one to read first. Thank you for watching. Hopefully it won't be such a long time before my next video, and I will see you soon. Thank you. Bye.